Hey, welcome back to our channel. I am Jill Smith. I'm one half of the Smith Serve, a company that I co-own with my husband, Terence Smith. I am the nonprofit strategist, so that's who you'll see on this channel. But thank you so much for coming back on. If you are watching this video from our YouTube page, our YouTube channel, please make sure that you join our Facebook group, Founders of Nonprofits, where it's a whole bunch of, it's a community of nonprofit founders who are building and gleaning from each other. So I'll put the link below. If you are watching this video from the Founders of Nonprofits Facebook page, make sure you subscribe to this channel. All right, so Terrence and I are on a mission helping nonprofit founders, primarily nonprofit founders who have founded their nonprofits 5 years or less. So we're on a mission to help newbies get visibility so that they can attract donors, volunteers, grantors, support in general, so that they can impact the people who God called them to serve. So that's what our mission is, and we definitely join you in your mission. All right. If you are new at this, you don't know what to do, I highly recommend that you take our absolute free training. It's called the 6-Figure Nonprofit. I'll put the link below. It is absolutely free. It is a 3-hour training, and it will teach you how to build your nonprofit. Things have changed in the last 5 years since the pandemic. Why? Because people are looking at things a little bit differently. I hate to say it, but it's true, where people are looking at things more selfishly, like they're looking at their priorities and what's going to be best for them and their families. So with that said, a lot of people are not giving or supporting like they used to. It's not because their heart is not there. It's because that times have changed, and a lot of things have happened in our society that that we're just focusing more on our priorities. So definitely take that training. If you need tools, I also have an Activate toolkit. It's very reasonable. It has just about every tools you need to build your nonprofit. Has a whole board package for your board members application. The roles and responsibilities are broken down. Your board, a sample of a board meeting agenda. What else is in there? If you need sponsors for your events, your activities, sample letters are in there. All kinds of stuff is in there. So you can click on the link and you'll see the list of documents that are in the Activate toolkit. All right. So today, we are talking about how to build a mission-driven empire to increase income to serve others. So let me just say this. This may be a controversial topic. So for those of you who are stuck in the mindset that we're not money driven, we're purpose driven, we are too. But at the end of the day, we all still need to eat. Even though we have a heart to serve, we still all need to eat, and we all want to build legacies for our family. We all want to contribute to society. We all want to make this place that we live a better place for ourselves as well as for others. So the Bible says that God gives us the power to make wealth. And so the more wealth we have, the better and more we can impact and serve others. So if you're stuck on this whole thing of I'm mission driven, I'm not financially driven, you can click off this video right now. Click off, because it may rub you the wrong way. But those of you who believe that you can be wealthy, you can have a nice salary, an income, and all that great stuff, and still have a heart to serve, this video is definitely for you. All right, so a couple of weeks ago, I featured one of my clients on in the Founders of Nonprofits Founder Spotlight. I did an interview on them a couple of weeks ago. They are the co-founders, Priscilla Afosu and Dinita Short. They're the co-founders of a nonprofit called Lean on Us Unity. Lean on Us Unity. And I started working with them in 2012, and they are now well over well over seven-figure mission-driven empire. And so I started with them from the very beginning. From they had an idea and didn't know what to do with it. Their story is simple. They both at one time were single moms. One of them was a teen single mom. They were single moms, and so their story is that they became professionals, dental professionals, and they wanted to give back to other single moms, and so they built a nonprofit. And so, but now their nonprofit has grown into different entities. And so a lot of people were interested in hearing their story and how they did it. And they wanted to know how, they can do it as well, because it is doable. It is definitely doable. It's legal. Let me just tell you, before I share some of the formula. Well, I'm not going to share their formula, but I'm going to give you a strategy on how you can do it. But let me say, for them, they also have a team of professionals. So as they were growing these ventures, they were adding on to their team. So they definitely, of course, have an accountant from the very beginning. They have an accountant. They have an attorney that they consult with. They have a for-profit business coach. Of course, they have me as a nonprofit business coach, which I have for different entities, which I'm going to kind of give you an example of what they did as well. But the point is that you definitely need a professional team of advisors before you do something like this. And so, so this is very general. It's very general. I strongly suggest that you consult with your professional advisors while you are building, if this is the avenue that you want to explore, because there's some legal parameters. I'm going to give it very general. This is, so those of you who are going to try to come for me in the comments, please save your comments, take that to your attorney. But I'm not giving you no legal advice here. I'm not giving you no financial advice. I'm just giving you an example of how things could be laid out. All right. So I'm sorry. I have allergies, like really bad. It's not a cold. I have allergies all year long. All right. So let's just say, for the sake of explaining how to build a mission-driven empire, because we know that if you're on this channel, you have a heart to start a nonprofit, a public charitable nonprofit. That's what you want to do. So I'm going to give you a fictitious example of how this can look, of building an empire. So let's just say you're Ray Johnson. Your name is Ray Johnson, and your story is that you and your 6 brothers and sisters were raised by your grandparents because your parents, I don't know, died in a car accident, and your grandparents had to raise you. And because your grandparents raised you, they sacrificed a lot of their lives in their early 50s until way into their 80s, 90s, when they passed away. They sacrificed their life just to give you and your brothers and sisters a better life in the absence of your parents. And so because of that, you have a passion for the elderly. You have a passion, and you have a passion and a heart for the elderly. And now that your grandparents done put you through college, and I don't know, say you became a psychologist or a therapist or whatever your profession is, say now you really want to look to give back to seniors, to the seniors. So you come up with this idea, and you say, you know what? I am going to start a nonprofit, a public charity. I'm going to go into underprivileged neighborhoods, and I am going to start a nonprofit called, let's say, Senior Care or Silver Care Community Services, Silver Care Community Services. And basically, that nonprofit is going to go into the community, and it's going to partner we're going to hold classes at the, you're going to hold classes at the local library or at the community center, or, going in and providing services for seniors so that they can have something to do. These are low income seniors, so they don't have a lot of money. And so you want to provide, I don't know, activities, hobbies. You may want to provide meals during the week so that they can have something to, a hot meal during the week. You're providing this is your public charity. This is your public nonprofit that you're doing. You're going to form a board, all that great stuff. But in the beginning, we know, and from the training, the six-figure nonprofit, from the training, in the beginning, realistically, you will not get grants. You will not have a lot of funding because people really don't know what you're doing. And so you've got to come up with some money, to support this nonprofit that you want to develop. So you form your Silver Care Community Center Services. You form that as a public charitable nonprofit with your state. Now you need to fund it. You want to get a program up and running. Say you want to get, I don't know, say you want to get the game night up and running. You need games, you need, snacks and food, how are you going to pay for this? So I would suggest that you do another entity, you form another entity, and this is where it becomes controversial. I suggest that you form another entity, a for-profit entity that will be yours to do apparel sales. There's a video I had, I'll put it up here at the end. There's a video I did about a year or two ago about how one of the most lucrative ways to raise funds is to sell t-shirts, hats. This is my t-shirt that we designed on a mission. T-shirts, hats, apparel, sweatshirts, those go over very, very well. But because you're giving someone, you're selling this item to someone, they don't get a tax break from it. And this is all, you got to go through your accountant for this. But I would strongly suggest that you not put this for-profit venture under your nonprofit. So if you're going to do popcorn sales or Krispy Kreme donuts or whatever, yeah, you could do that under the nonprofit. But I would strongly suggest for you to fund this vision that you have, I would suggest you start a separate entity to sell t-shirts, sweatshirts, and what have you. You can, again, consult that video, because in that video, one of the things I say is that when you do stuff when you create t-shirts, you want to put, sayings and phrases and statements that you don't want to put your logo, the Silver Care Community Services. You don't want to put your logo. You want to put phrases that, all generations, all cultures can relate to. So in this instance, you may want to create a t-shirt that says something like, Granny says no, or you may want to maybe something like Grandpa built a legacy, or Grandpa says build a legacy, something that resonates with other people and that they can identify that's who you want, because you want them to be able to buy these t-shirts. Again, it's staying in the same mission. It's all about senior helping seniors or whatever, or it's all about the mission of seniors. So that's one entity. That's another entity. So you have the nonprofit, which you don't own, and then you have the for-profit, this apparel line. And so what you can say is that a portion of the proceeds will go to the Silver Care Community Services nonprofit, a portion of the proceeds. All right. And then you also want the board you want to put it in writing with the board. All of that is, legalities that you can work out. Then, all right, then it can grow even bigger. So then you find out, with working through the nonprofit, you find out that there are other seniors who are not in the area that still wants to take advantage of. Now your nonprofit is growing. You're taking these seniors to Atlantic City and on beach trips, and they're traveling, and you know the funding that's coming through is helping to fund these activities, and the public is now donating. But then you see another need. You see that there are other seniors that want to take advantage, but they live far away. So you may want to start you might want to start a transportation service for seniors. Now, you can definitely get transportation under your nonprofit that will go and bring people to the senior citizen, to the senior center, the silver center, or whatever you call it. You can definitely get a van, and there's a video on here that talks about transportation for your nonprofit. You can definitely get that. But this might be another need that you see, that there is a need for seniors, say, to get to their doctor's appointments, or to get to the airport, or get to the grocery store. These might be seniors that don't even come to your nonprofit, come to your nonprofit. This might be a whole different type of different type of need that does not necessarily fall under your nonprofit's mission. So you see that there's a need, and it could be transportation services to get even to the senior citizen. That is another for-profit business. That is another for-profit business. Now, if you are working in tandem with the nonprofit, then of course there's some legalities that needs to be worked out. But let's just say that it's not even have anything to do with the people that you are supporting in your public charity. This might be a whole different set of seniors that you are providing services for. That is a separate business, all in the same mission, serving seniors. Then it gets gooder. Let's just say that now, Ray Johnson, because you were in the military and you see an opportunity with the Department of Veterans Affairs is saying they're giving out contracts for those who want to start group homes for veterans. And so you said, wow, well, my grandfather was a veteran, and, I want to help elderly veterans who need a place to stay. That right there is another entity. That is another entity where you're contracting with the government to provide another service. That might be totally separate, again, from your Silver Care Senior Center, your public charity. Totally separate. All right. Then it gets gooder. Because you are in your profession outside of all of this, outside of being an entrepreneur, you went to college or you went through the military and you became, let's just say, a licensed therapist. Then that becomes a separate entity, because that becomes you're now operating off of your professional expertise as a service provider. And at that point, you can do like fee for service. So in addition to, say, working something out with the nonprofit where you provide services, you can also provide mental health and counseling for those who can afford to pay, for those seniors who can afford to pay for whatever you charge as a therapist. That is a separate entity. That is a whole separate for-profit entity. Now, and again, let me keep saying this again and again and again. There's some legal parameters that you have to consider. So you want this all to be done ethically, and you want everything to be in writing. You want especially when you're providing any of these services or products to the public charity. You want to make sure that the board is approving this. The board is well aware of where money comes from, or when you're donating money to the public charity, you want to make sure all of that you want to be ethical, all of that. The point is that it can be done. All right, so then it gets gooder. So this is the part where, because let me just say, this can go on and on and on and on and on. Because visionaries, you all are visionaries, and y'all got a whole bunch. Matter of fact, I had a meeting with someone who did just one session with me a couple of weeks ago, and she has a home health care business in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh my goodness. When I say this enterprise has so many entities connected to it. Yes, she's well over a multi-millionaire. So she came to me because she's trying to now put it into a nonprofit. So she wanted to do a public charity, which a lot of people, come to me, but a lot of people need to do this part that I'm going to recommend for Ray Johnson. So Ray Johnson he's the founder of the Silver Care Community Center, a public charity. He has an LLC for a t-shirt business, and that could be all kind of product sales, t-shirts, cups, all that. A portion of the proceeds, he has worked it out with the board. A portion of the proceeds is going to to support the public charity, the Silver Care Community Center. He also has another company that he started, Mr. Ray Johnson. He started a transportation company for seniors to help, to make sure that they can get to their doctor's visits and all of that, or wherever they need to go. He also has a government contract with the Department of Veterans Affairs, where he provide group homes, which real estate, that's a whole nother entity. He provide housing for senior veterans. That's another business. Mr. Ray Johnson is also a licensed therapist. So he also has a business where he provides counseling and therapy. And he is providing, he's a portion of that. He's contracted with the Silver Care Community Center, where he provides fee for service, but he also has a separate practice where those seniors who can afford his services, he's providing those services. One that I forgot about. So now, because Ray Johnson he's an entrepreneur, all because he's an entrepreneur and he's managing all these businesses so well. He's now being recognized by the Chamber of Commerce. He's now being recognized by, I don't know, so many different organizations. He is being featured on the news. He's got a feature in, let's say, Forbes magazine, and so he's becoming his own brand, Mr. Ray Johnson brand, or his own brand. He's now getting speaking engagements. That's another entity. That is another money making entity. If anything is done under the nonprofit, if he is getting recognition for something he's doing under the nonprofit, of course that stays with the nonprofit. But if it's separate and he's doing, he's getting recognized, he's getting a book deal and all of that, that's his intellectual property. That is another separate entity. All right. So you got the public charity at top, you got all of these for-profit entities, and then one of my favorite. Now, Mr. Ray Johnson says, all right, sisters and brothers, grandma and grandpa did us well. Now let's form a family foundation, a private family foundation, in the honor of our grandparents. I don't know, the Raymond and Emma Johnson Foundation, Family Foundation. And under that foundation, what the family is going to do And what Mr. Ray Johnson is going to do is that the income that he receives from his for-profit ventures, the income he receives, because he's getting paid as an employee from his for-profit ventures, he's going to say the law says that he can take up to 30% of his income and he can put it into his private foundation. And his sisters and brothers can do the same. And from that foundation, they may want to give scholarships to students who are raised by their grandparents. They may also want to provide grants to other public charitable nonprofits that provide services to seniors. So there's a whole bunch of things that they can do under their private foundation as a family that is totally separate from what Ray Johnson as a founder is doing with his public charity. So the private foundation and the public charity are two separate types of nonprofits. And so yeah, that is an empire. And you can definitely have for-profit businesses as long as it's done in a legal way. I mean, so many people doing it illegally. That's not what we do. That's not what we promote here, but it can be done as long as you got the right advising. Of course, I can't stress this enough that you have you have to have a professional team. And I also want to say there are so many people visionaries who have this type of vision in mind, that they want to have all of these different components while they're serving and as they're serving. And because they want to serve and impact, they have this, but they cannot do it by themselves. So it's very important that you, if you're the visionary, that you get a strategist, a business strategist to help you to lay out how this can go. For my clients, and this is one of many clients, one of several clients that I've helped build this type of empire. But the ones that were featured in the Founders of Nonprofits group, it took them several years to get there. They're in their 12th year, so it took them several years to get to this point of building these different entities. And they did not come in trying to build these different entities, but they saw the need. And so when you see the need, it's like, okay, well, since we're already doing this, this is already our population, let's add on this service or this product onto what we're already doing. And so, but it can be done, and it can be done legally. And this is how people build wealth. This is one of the ways people build wealth. And this is how they are impacting. We're here to give from a full cup. We're not here to be victims serving victims. That's not what we're doing. That's not how we teach to do it. All right. So we're here to give from a full cup and to give from our overflow. So I hope this helps. A lot of people had that question, like, how do I do this? Or can I make money under the nonprofit? Like, can I do this? And these are the different ways you can offer these services, still bringing income, so that you can not have to necessarily rely on that big grant. And let me just tell you this, those clients, Lean on Us Unity, they don't have any grants. They don't have any grants. They did all of this 7-figure off of contracts, fee for service, product sales. All right. So I hope this helps. Drop your questions below if you have any questions, concerns. But yeah, I mean, as I said again, God gives us the power to make wealth. He gives us the power. That's what his word says. And so do not let someone play in your mind to think that because you have a desire to build wealth, that you don't have a passion to serve and to help others, because that is a lie. All right. So I hope this helps. Again, if you have questions, please drop them below. Don't forget to follow us in the Founders of Nonprofit group. And those of you who are in the group, make sure you subscribe. All right. Be blessed. Bye-bye.